In the start of my video, my character's arm changes its position from low to high and back down. To be able to do so, I created two arms in two different folders. And during my filming, I made one disappear and one appear, and then just switch back and forth between them to make it feel like an animation. There are also several functions I used for this video. Firstly, in scene 2, I used periodic function or design function in the form of y equal a sine x minus b to create a graph that repeats itself to represent the drawing from the pencil. To animate the graph, I set the range of a to move it vertically, knowing that a will affect the amplitude of the graph, and set b to a constant number of 0.6 to give the graph its y-intercept of negative 0.6. I then leave the period as x, therefore the sine wave will repeat itself after every 2 pi unit. Secondly, I use the ellipse function to create the oval shape of the character's eyes, shoes, mouth, and so on. For example, for the mouth, in knowing that A affects the coordinate of x, B affects the coordinate of y, A affects the radius along the x-axis, and B affects the radius along the y-axis, and how C affects the size of the ellipse, I set the range of B from 0 to 1.2 to give the animation of the character smiling. Giving it a range of smaller or equal to 1.2 and bigger or equal to 0 stops the radius along the y-axis or the character's mouth to go past the face of the character. Thirdly, I use linear equation in slope-intercept form of y equal mx plus b, while m is the coefficient of x and b is a constant, to create the body parts of the stick figures. And in knowing that m affects the steepness of the line and b is the y-intercept of the graph. To create specific measurement of the body parts, I set the domain of each and every single one of the function for the body parts. Fourth, I use the circle function to create, for example, the head of the stick figures in the form of x plus a to the power of 2 plus y minus b to the power of 2 equal r to the power of 2. I change the size of the circle and move it by changing the variables, knowing that a and b affect the coordinates of the circle center and r affects the radius of the circle. And for example, to create the mouth with just part of the circle, I set the circle both domain and range. In scene 5, to make the hand of the character move horizontally, I set the domain of A, and to make it move vertically, I set the range of B to create the animations of the hand moving. Lastly, to be able to shade and add colors to my video and my functions, I use inequalities using less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. And to achieve a darker shade or color for my liking, I just repeat the function over and over again multiple times.